Hello. All right. So, hello, Tyler. Yes. We are gonna do art. Uh, I was gonna work on Nepenthonkers, but then Astral's finished his part of a meme that was technically my idea, so now I feel guilty instead. All right. I need reference. Yes, it is. It is the car one. Yeah. I also did add some more. Better appreciate the unlurk one. I had to crash course fucking JavaScript for that. Yep. And there we go. Wait. All right. And because this is your try and put music on. See how well this goes. Oh, all right. How is the how's the volume on? You guys hear that? Hey. Oh, also, how is my microphone volume? I wasn't able to test the new microphone I got till today. All right. So since I kind of need my entire there we go. Eat. Hi, Cyrano. How are you? All right. All right. I yeah. This is Affinity Studio. I do know about Rita. Um, but this was shown to me first by my advisor, so I'm just a bit more familiar with it. Although familiar for me is I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So yeah. That is absolutely fine. Enjoy the soup. All right. So I said Nep was. Also, forgive me if I'm not extremely talkative right now. I am still like I've practiced a little bit with this drawing pad that I got, but I'm not completely at it. And also, I'm a lefty, so drawing is just hard in general. Although this does remind me of a story from undergrad. So I think this was my second semester as a freshman, spring semester. Um, so I used to work in my department's administrative office, like as a student assistant. And so whenever it wasn't busy, I'd help or I'd just work on my homework. And so one day I was working on like my Calc 3 homework, which at the time involved a lot of trying to draw 3D objects, which is not easy. Um, and one of the professors comes in and is like, "Hmm, you're really bad at this, Gaussian. Um, if you want to be a good physicist, you're gonna have to figure out how to draw better." And I've never forgotten that. I don't know. I've found it. Well, okay. I guess I can't really tell if it's harder objectively, but like I don't know. It's hard to maneuver sometimes for me. I mean, I don't know. I've just for as long as I can remember, I just like have been like compared to like my peers have just been inordinately bad at like drawing straight lines or coloring within the lines. Well, yeah, it hasn't really been about the no, it hasn't really been about like the smearing, right? Like I've kind of come to terms with the smearing over time, but um no, I don't know, I've just been naturally worse at drawing like straight lines and shit than all my classmates. And I've just assumed that it had to do with me being a lefty. Usually I'm the only lefty in the class. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Like it is practice, but um, I don't know. I don't know. I've never had really supportive art teachers in my life. Like aside from my mother, everyone's just kind of been like, "Yeah, you just kind of suck at art." That's why I switched in 5th grade from visual art to band. I was much better with music. Actually, it was funny. I initially was obsessed. I was like dead set. Oh, hey, Kolak. I was dead set on the flute. And so at my school, what they did when the students first wanted to join band is they had like a couple instruments that you could like test out. And so I tried the flute, could not get any noise out of it whatsoever. That thing would not work for me. But then the teacher was like, "All right, well, what about, some brass instruments?" And so she's like, "All right, here's a mouthpiece for a trombone. Why don't you try blowing a raspberry into it?" And I was really good at that. Um, and so I did trombone for the longest time. Percussion's always the percussion people are always like the most chill. Like I didn't go to a high school that had like stoners or anything, but like somehow the percussion people still were basically stoners. I don't understand how. It's both. It was both. Actually, yeah, the percussion was always goofy. Actually, it was funny. One of the percussionists was also in my AP Calc class. Um, and funny thing about my AP Calc class, not only was this class mostly for juniors and seniors, but I was both the only sophomore and the only 12-year-old. 12-year-old? No, 13-year-old. Sorry. Um so yeah, they basically just adopted me. It was weird. Like they kind of like fuck, I forgot what did they call me? Yeah, like they called me like the class like baby, not in like a, you know, immature way, but in a yeah, these were like a bunch of 17, 18-year-olds and I just started puberty. I hate to do this right as soon as stream starts, but yeah, I just finished eating dinner and I have to go pee already, so I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. But yeah, high school. Um, although, so I was thinking, so you know how um I've expressed interest in trying to, or in wanting to fill out the audition form. It occurred to me I am not actually sure I'm gonna be able to put out any like educational content in time for the deadline. So I've started, gathering information for the laser presentation I want to do, but I also just remembered that I have a committee meeting for my dissertation at the beginning of April. So I still need to make the PowerPoint for that. And while I could and plan to adapt some of it into my talk, obviously that means that that won't happen until like early April. So I'm not actually sure what I'm gonna do instead. I still need like I think 3 pieces of content. Um, well, yeah, the dissertation itself, but like this is so every year at my university, the grad students have to have a like meeting with their committee, basically as like a progress check-in type thing. So I have to basically tell them, all right, here's what I did this year. Here's what I plan to keep doing that's going to keep me on track to graduate. Um, that kind of stuff. But I mean, so and then what's special about this year is as part of our requirements. I've had to do a dissertation that's also due at the same time as my meeting, which the way it's designed, it doubles as my introduction section for my dissertation. So that's nice. But but in terms of like educational content I could put out, I don't think I'll have time to like prepare specialized, talks on things. But what I could do is there's a lot of like more rudimentary topics in physics that I can just talk about off the top of my head. Um, but I don't want to like drop that on you guys if it's not gonna be as like interesting. Like something I was thinking of is like I kind of want to make a series on like going through Griffith C&M, and so I could start doing that because the first section is a review of vectors, and so I could make like a video or stream about vectors, but then that's basically just a stream about math, and I don't know if people want to. Why'd you do that? So vectors. I, yeah, okay. So I could work on that, then some of that stuff this then. Um yeah, I mean hopefully there'll be more. I mean I hope they, you know, stay successful. Well, okay, you say that, Cyrano, but I mean that would kind of be the point of these streams, right? Like, you know, none of us have a degree in horticulture, but I mean NEP still is able to convey it, at least for the most part, in a very accessible manner. Yeah, I mean there is a bit more to vectors, but yeah, I mean at the very least, I think, I mean my general philosophy when it comes to education, because I mean I've tutored before and all that stuff, is that there really aren't topics that like are completely outside of people's grasp. I just think that it just needs to be presented to them in the right format, right? Like some people don't do lectures. They cannot sit still and absorb information just by listening. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's certainly come with practice. Like I said, I've been tutoring math and physics for a while. Um, but yeah, like it's happened so many times in my career that like this topic I've heard about will sound so alien and just so so outlandish. I'm like, I'll never understand this. And then once I actually grasp it, it's like, oh, wait a minute. That was so fucking simple. And the professor just could not explain it properly for the life of them. Hi, Bach. How are you? So, I mean, so yeah. But like, yeah, I know in my head that there will be probably more V theorem gens. But I mean, I don't know. I still kind of want to like at least apply and say I tried, but like I'd rather not have to put not applicable for half of the question. But yeah, I mean, if you guys wouldn't mind at least, seeing if I can, make math a bit less painful for some of you, you know, NEP potentially included, then I wouldn't mind giving it a try. I'm 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 not sure. I'm not entirely sure what you mean, Comey. Like the scope of what I talk about, because I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, obviously there are things that like Z already does that's not like necessarily my strength. Um, but I mean, on the other hand, I'm sure there are things that Z doesn't like as much, that I am more proficient in. For instance, I think it's been talked about in the Discord, but I don't think she likes quantum, which is absolutely incomprehensible to me. Quantum was still to this day one of my favorite classes. It's so it's so interesting and very much like, okay, there are some things that are very much like seem like magic. But for the most part, a lot of the results in quantum just come from algebra. Algebra with vectors. So, and bracket notation. So, but yeah, I mean, well, one thing that I think I am gonna do this week, especially since it's my spring break, is I can almost promise. Actually, I can promise at some point this week, I will have a stream where I explain what the hell a Gaussian surface is. So, because that is not actually as mysterious as one might think. Hello, Dillium. How are you? Um, no, that's a Gaussian distribution. That's slightly different. What's up? Yeah. So this is William is one of my old roommates from undergrad. He is very much not a STEM major. So it was a very fun dynamic. Um, he actually was the one that got me into JoJo's. Very good anime. But yeah. So Gaussian distribution, like what Tyler said, um, is just another name for the normal like instant. So like the bell curve, that's the function for the bell curve is called a Gaussian distribution or Gaussian function. A Gaussian surface has more to do with like vectors and in physics, electricity and magnetism. Why is it still working? Yay! Alright, fine. I will do. Oh yeah, what kind of soup did you get? Oh, oh, it's the eggies. As Hugh. Spicy soup. So cultured. Mm. Oh yeah, aren't you buddy buddy with them now? Smoothing? Uh, I have no idea. This is what I was talking about, where it was like, yeah, I'm more familiar with this program than Krita, but like that doesn't mean much. Like this is me trying to use this program after a full week of trying to figure out how the fuck to use Alpha Lock on this software to not have to color it this way, and it just doesn't work the way I need it to. I don't. It's probably me, but like, oh, um, maybe. There probably is a smoothing thing, but I don't know where it would. Yeah, I maybe I'll ask him because like I did look at tutorials and stuff. I just it's all for the tutorials of I found were all for like different softwares, and what they did on those softwares just would not work for some reason. Till I figure that out, I'm stuck doing fashioned way. I mean, oh, oh, Nep, you missed this. So, I'd like to make a formal apology to Eggy because when or like when I debuted, I know he wanted to wait to follow me until I was live so that the sound alert would pop up, and I didn't have it set up cuz honestly, I was dumb and I thought that sound alerts were locked until affiliate. And then I think it was yesterday I was trying to figure out how to do a schedule on my Twitch channel. And so I was just messing with random tabs and it was like, "Oh, you can do sound alerts." Yeah. So yeah, I have sound alerts now. Granted, it's the default ones. It's not like unique like Neps are, but I have sound alerts now. At least for being rated and followers cuz I'm not an affiliate, so I don't have subs yet. And I don't know what other ones I would need. So, but yeah, I I I yeah, not yet. So yeah, I mean, granted, I am very appreciative of you guys at the fact that because of your guys' support, I am shockingly closer to affiliate than I thought I'd be. So I want to thank you guys for that. Um, but yeah, not quite. Let me think. Uh, I mean, yeah. So, I think I mentioned it last week, but like starting today, it is technically my spring break. That's not. I may or may not have to show up to work this week. It depends on if my advisor fixes something for me. But knowing them, I do not think they're gonna do it. So I'm assuming I have the week off because at least the written part of my prospectus is pretty much done. I just need to do the print, which shouldn't take too long. I wish I live nowhere near Daytona Beach. I am going to vegetate, probably, most likely. I will become Brassica. Actually, I also realized something. Yeah, except that again, because of the alpha lock, like the way like you do it on stream, I cannot figure out how to get the software to do it. So the layers here are basically meaningless right now. I yeah, I wish I had access to it. Yeah. Yeah, it seems to be completely different from what most people use, or at least what I found on the internet. Um but yeah, it was just I needed a diagram for my prospectus, and my advisor was like, "Oh, well, um I use this one." I was like, "All right, it's free, might as well." And so I just happened to be a bit more experienced with this one than or I mean, it's definitely a step up from MS Paint, which is what I was using before. Like the Nepadoru was MS Paint. Yeah, MS Paint always reminds me of like the flip note days. Huh. Why did the command not work this time? Oh, is it because you put some in front of the command? Also, it is a tad disappointing. I wanted to make the unlurk command a tad bit more sophisticated, but apparently Nightbot restricts any inline JavaScript code to a compile time of like I think 1 second. So the code that I originally had in there just would not work. Yeah. Because like now that I know how to put my own code into Nightbot, I could do so much stuff with it if it weren't for that stupid compile time limitation. But yeah, I could also just take a bit to explain what my unlurk command means if anyone has tried it yet. Yeah, so okay, so for those that have, you know, heard about quantum mechanics, you've probably heard about Schrodinger's cat, right? That thought experiment, like, oh, if you put a cat in a box with, some vial of poison that will shatter and release the poison after a random amount of time. If you, you know, open or yeah, and if you before you open the box, um, you don't know if the cat is alive or dead. So you can kind of describe the cat as it's in a sort of state of both. It is in a superposition of being both alive and dead. Now, while that is not entirely accurate, that is sort of how things work. So, depending on the system that you're working in, um, if you have a particle, if you have a particle and you leave it unobserved, then depending on your situation and what's called the Hamiltonian, which is basically the total energy of your system, then the particle can exist in a superposition of the allowed states of your system. So, for instance, um, my unlurk command it runs a command that gives you a 50-50 chance of coming back as spin up or spin down, represented by positive one half and negative one half. Now, spin in the quantum mechanical sense isn't exactly in this case it's not that the particle is physically spinning, it's just an intrinsic property. So what that means is you can basically, the way I've found it best to think about it, an intrinsic property is consider like an electron and it just has a name tag. And that name tag says spin up or spin down. Like it's not actually spinning, but it has the intrinsic property that it has some spin up or spin down. So if I put this electron into a situation where it could be either or, then before I observe it or measure it, in this case, it can be in either one. A famous example of this is actually the Stern-Gerlach experiment. So what they did was they fired a beam of, say, mercury atoms. They heated some metal and um fired that stream of atoms um through a magnetic field, and then wanted to measure in which direction the magnetic field deflected the atoms. And what they observed is that the beam basically split in half, with half of the beam deflecting up and half of the beam deflecting down. And what that told them, because that wouldn't work if you only think about the classical observable that that atom would have. It only works if you give these atoms this property called spin that can either be spin up or spin down, then the direction in which it will deflect will be entirely dependent on its actual spin value. So that's one of the first ways that they actually observed this idea of spin. Um, Sorry, stretching. Um, yeah, I mean, it takes a bit of like working with it to become super familiar with it, but honestly, spin is not like some magical unknown property. It's just it's a property that behaves as if it's similar to angular momentum. It has the same units, but it's different than actual angular momentum because, for instance, in an atom, an electron has orbital angular momentum. Lars does spin, yes. Um, Lars be a conifer. Would Lars have integer spin or half integer? Um, yeah. So an electron in an atom, um, an electron in an atom not only has this intrinsic spin value, it does have an orbital angular momentum value that would be equivalent to if the electron as a particle was actually orbiting the nucleus. Um, so in that sense, that's why you have to distinguish when you talk about spin, because it acts like an angular momentum, but you can also have actual angular momentum depending on your situation. Eh. Oh, oh yeah. ah, you got entangled. See, that's what happens when you share the brain cell. You guys got entangled. Now you're a fucking Cooper pair. Which a Cooper pair is an entangled pair of electrons in a specific types of materials called superconductors. So below a certain critical temperature, these electrons will pair up of opposing spins, and that creates an effect where current can flow through that material with effectively zero resistance, called a supercurrent. It also, in type 1 superconductors, which are the ones where Cooper pairs form, um, creates a repulsion effect of magnetic fields. So, like, external magnetic fields will not penetrate a superconductor. below a certain critical field value. And that leads to uh no, that's not the same as quantum. Sorry. But what's interesting is that actually, so we understand type 1 superconductors fairly well. Those are the ones that are mediated by what we call Cooper. However, what we've discovered is that a lot of superconductors in practice um, are not type 1. They fall under, uh, they are what we call, for the most part, unconventional super, which basically means any superconductor not caused by Cooper. So they can be caused by any number of weird effects that I don't really want to go into because, quite frankly, I'm not even sure how I would explain that to a layman. Uh, yeah, very weird material shit. Um, but yeah, no, I really loved my quantum class in undergrad because it's the first time that I got to use bracket notation, which is a way of writing vectors. And so, like for instance, if you've seen this before, that is a ket. And I was so excited to finally get to use those because it made me feel like an actual physicist. I don't, it was really dumb, but I like using it. Just plain rice or like what kind of rice? Eh. Great. Tyler's entangling everyone. What is Lao Gama? I've heard that before. I cannot for the life of me remember. I'm pretty sure I heard about it on food. So if I pull up the clip, there is a decent chance there will just be not gonna do that. Spicy chili crisp. Yes. Yes, now I remember. Yes, I definitely saw that on food. Alright. Eh. Actually, quantum entanglement does not last long usually. So a system of particles that are quantum entangled um can also be called coherent. They're in a coherent state. And so anything external that perturbs that system, so for instance, temperature, any temperature, um, is likely to decohere it. So as long as you're not at absolute zero, you guys will go back to normal, actually. Back. Yeah. Honestly, that's like a longer term goal I want to do. And I only say longer term because it's going to require a lot of like build up is I want to make a quantum mechanics series for not quantum mechanics people. All right, how am I going to do? I had Taco Bell for dinner. I just didn't want to today. I am very happy that you guys are enjoying the unlurk command. I did not think that was gonna end up being as entertaining as it was, or as it has been. Uh, fucking 1 second compile time limitation. I could do so much. Because, fun fact, I am pretty proficient with Python, and I mean, honestly, what I've learned, the difference between most programming languages, um, is just syntax. So I could probably translate most of what I can do with Python into JavaScript. Except I do not know how to make the stuff that I'd want to do compile in less than a second. Maybe I wonder if there's a way to host my own and then have it just load. That's too cipher. I don't know. Actually, it's a running joke. Well, a personal running joke for me that I can't tell comp sci majors that I code or that I know how to code because they disagree with me because I know how to code. I know how to like make programs and stuff in Python at least. Um Making them optimized and like efficient so like they run on like order like time order n or whatever. That I don't know how to do. Nor do physicists really care about that. As long as it works. The mating worm song. I Wait, is this from that worm video? um I know I'm watching the DM. Yeah, I'm sorry to inform you guys that I have a favorite follower. It's Lars. None of you will be good. All right, sure. We can watch the worm mating song. Drop the link in chat. I'll pull it up. I mean, okay, I do consider that kind of an accomplishment. Like I know Lars doesn't like obviously Lars can't like actually understand what's going on. But the fact that there's enough movement and things going on that he just stays like that, like Rich with Hades, I take that as a win. Lars has a postdoc in astrophysics. He's that's a he outranks Z at address. expert on. Oh, you think um I bet Lars has a PhD in the Harry Ball theorem, which is a real thing. I would love to talk about it, except it's topology, and I am not good at. All right. What's the timestamp on the worm mating song? You're a wizard now. How'd you become a wizard? I love that you just that off.
Does that mean you can see through them?
No, that means the light can pass through them.
Right again!
Oh Jesus. It's quiet. Hang on.
Together with slime.
How's that?
Cocoon slips off the front of the worm, filled with fluid, eggs and
Hey, Thunder Nugget.
Then the eggs are fertilized, and the cocoon has little worms inside. Oh, worms, making worms. It's mating time. I said worms, exchanging sperm, locked together with slime. I said
I am drawing. All right, I am drawing a meme that was posted in Z's server. So it's based off of this picture, and I
Now here's the
went
cocoon
ahead.
after several weeks. Can you see the baby worm?
I went ahead and said that, like, oh, I think it was Millennium that posted this.
Looks like some kind of alien.
Like, oh, who's in the car? And I was like, Z and Millennium are driving. Nep's passenger side. This is Myelin,
Those moving bands are
who's Astral's in
sentient?
charge of.
Yes, Yuri Bob.
And
Now look at this one. See the
crap,
beating
who's the
blood
back
vessels?
driver's side?
And now for the big
I forgot
one.
who was in back driver's side,
After
but
a
so
few
okay.
weeks, the
The
cocoon
part
will
I'm in
hatch.
charge of is drawing Nep.
Aw, now
So
isn't that cute?
I don't know, Worm Woman. Calling them cute is kind of a stretch to me.
yeah, we're drawing Nep. What? Oh, so yeah, so I recently bought, along with like a ring light and hopefully the microphone sounds better quality. I also got a new microphone. I got this like drawing pad and a pen, and it just attaches via USB. Yeah, drawing with a mouse was too. Hell was. Did you guys hear that like magic sound? The whoosh. The hell did that come from? Alright, I have no idea where that came from, so. Yeah, I mean, it was just like, yeah, I couldn't keep drawing with the mouse. It just wasn't. I couldn't get as much control with it, and I don't have the money to shell out for a tablet. So, oh, was that the sound alert? Oh, did the sound alert actually show up? I don't have OBS pulled up right now. I can't see. Yes! Sound alert works. Good to know that that's the default sound. That before. But yeah. So yeah, I kind of just googled like, oh, is there just a drawing pad that I can connect via USB? And apparently those exist. And so when I got paid last time, I bought one. No. App scuff. Apps. Well, fortunately, crisis averted. Bong. I know, feels like a bong night. Uh, Now, real question. What color do I make the soles of Nep's shoe? That is not in the reference. Like a dark. Eh, that kind of looks. All right. Oh, random. I don't know if any of you are physics nerdy enough to know about. Did you know that there's a parody of the Alexander Hamilton song about is a really important. Yeah, I think after. Yeah, it's really funny. So it's made by this channel called Acapella Sun. I really loved him as. I mean, I still like his. But I used to watch them all. So yeah, I'll put it up right after him. He also let's see. He has one oh he has a Bohemian Rhapsody parody, but instead of Bohemian Rhapsody, it's about like string theory. So that's fun. Trying to think. He doesn't have like ant ones per se, but he has like IO one. He has there's one about like CRISPR-Cas9, the gene editing mechanism. I mean, that's all right. Yeah, let's learn some. Yo,
You.
all right. Have fun. And yeah, it's probably all right.
Just you. Building your app. On base 44.
Yeah, sorry. It's, oh, there we go. All right, sorry. That was a lot louder than I thought it would be. Yeah, sorry. Instead of QV.
How does the plastered fourth-born son
Yeah.
of a lawman in Dublin, dubbed an impressive polyglot, young and wonderkind, embarrassed in a contest with the prodigious Vermonter, obtain Irish science's highest honor?
The math scholar, chief astronomer, alcoholic, burned a lot stronger by working a lot longer, by starting a lot younger, by being a savant, and by 13 knew more languages than the Holy Father.
And every day while knaves were playing soccer and ogling babes lost in the page, he studied and built his knowledge. At 18 had gotten a spot at Trinity College. The brother had mathematical skills set to astonish.
Then a shot at love came, but devastation reigned. A man saw his Catherine take another name. The depression told him ended. He faded it from his brain. Then he wrote his first refrain, a testament to his pain.
William Wordsworth, his pal, said this verse is just okay, man. Stick to mathematics and you'll never be a lame man. Do your calculations, take kinetics as your claim, and the world's gonna know your name. What's your name, man?
William Rowan Hamilton. My name is William Rowan Hamilton. And no one uses my quaternions. But just you wait, just you
Wait.
wait.
Each one ending complex found the fickle Nicholas kids.
Would ask him, Daddy, can you multiply triples?
Not yet.
I can only subtract and add back.
While he'd adopted an optimization view of life, following optics, it drew him right into inside a path to dynamics, not to habits. Healthy started computing, never to himself. A beautiful lens and natural juice, collection Catherine drinking, slinking to his office, getting ripped, turning back to triplet manipulation with no reward. Helen, inspiration calls him, add another letter, see now as he scrolls in the stone of a bridge like a revolution. IJKE negative 1, I squared equals negative 1. J squared equals negative 1. We are waiting on the bouncer, waiting on the bouncer. Energy function generates the flow. That leaving you. The symbol that bears your name. Hold her own and oppose the brain. They'll always be the same. Oh, buses form hyperspheres. See if you can plot. Invented vectors and scalars for when you got it. The alcohol destroyed his health and gout. It finally got him.
We grounded him. Me, I counseled him. Me, I worked with him. We revamped him. Me, I adapted him for quantum.
Physics and Newtonian. Just you wait.
What's
Her name?
William Rowan Hamilton.
So yeah, I like this guy. He also, I was just reminded because it's on the sidebar, he has an entire Aladdin parody about exoplanets, which, I don't know, I feel like that's something Z would be proud of. So yeah, would you guys? But yeah, this dude did so much in and math. Quaternions are trippy. Actually, I've heard, again, I don't know much about how it's implemented, but I've heard that so quaternions have kind of been phased out for the most part by like the use of vectors. But I've heard that in like computer graphics, that the programs still make use of quaternions because the computations are simple. But that's just what I'm maybe. I like I said, I don't know exactly where it's used. I remember in when I took complex variables, one of the like our final project was like a group project, and one of the other groups had quaternions, and they mentioned that it was used still in like computer graphics. But that was not my group either. My group had yeah, conformal math. Like uh which like video games. That melty. Yeah, I do love. Yeah, I like older style graphics are still really cozy. Hello, missed education, missed math. Wait, is the good neighbor? Wait, yeah, one you're friends with? Guys either want to listen to another one of, or I kind of want to play in before copy. I mean, in my defense, it is not the entirety of the X Files, so probably. I mean, I'm not monetized yet anyway, so it's not like I'm making money off of it. So, guessing that means more. Yeah, you missed Hamilton. Yeah. So there's this science musician that has a YouTube channel, and I really like the song that he makes. You know, I kind of want to uh should I plagiarize Z and play the X? That is a fun. You know, fuck it. Yeah, we're listening to that. I really like that. Sorry, Z.
I have a question.
You can ask me any.
A whole new world. That's what we'll see. That's what we'll see.
In my yeah. Oh. Good luck with homework, Thunder.
I'm looking for one tug, pull the
Planet.
one tail, a wobbling sun. I've searched for years, haven't found a one. But they're out there. One jump in radio redshift, one slip, the spectral lines. They'll see if I can show them the signs.
Pish tosh.
Green men.
Take 5, take 10.
Just a little cash, guys.
Budget's tight, don't fund this trash, guys.
I can take a hint, better face the facts. Second hand will have to do.
All you planet hunters at the bottom. You've got fancy fantasy and fun.
Finding planets, except they haven't got one. Well, they gotta be forming readily when you think about it. When you got 9. One jump of the spectrum. One jump to use second. One graph of period power. Laugh, but I'm not sour. Goes 18 months of data, crossing correlated. They gotta do it.
Run! Pish tosh, green men.
I don't
mind them. If only they'd
They'd
look closer. Would they see a pure void? No siree. They'd
Peg way for Pegasus.
First was a world on an old pulsar, that's true. But the news is a sun-like star with baubles so quick and precise to be designed. No fluke, not a spot. If you like it hot, you're gonna love this find. Legacy 51b, planet discovered. Orbit traced every 4 days, hot as can be. Its order Jupiter size was something of a surprise, especially given its star's proximity.
Legacy detecting it pulls on its star. It shifts the stellar spectrum. Now we found 51 Legacy. Funny. We got your funnies. Time is to break through feels Monday. I've been telling you, oh me and Anama, Legacy. See, 51B planet uncovered. Round a far main sequence star, spectral type G. Has to be high. That's Jupiter by sign off. At 50.61 parsecs from out 6 of 8th and outside of stars. Shifts his glacial pace and astrometry never prevails. But baby, you're in luck, cause up in space you got a planet finder never fails. Got the power of statistics now, you got a view out an atmosphere. No more nights spent locked up in your tower, all you gotta do is wait right here. And I say, Kepler, the planet searcher, got a dip, no 2, no 3. We just measure brightness, plotted out, and that's transitive photometry.
Curves to space. Then your star's got this transit in its face. Then you hit compute. Looky here. You get good diameter data from the dip and orbit. This is from the length of yeah. But now we need this tail supported by a grand observer with a good shell. We got 2,000 planets certified. 2,000 more than only time will tell. But let's take them all and plot them out and find out if we're really all alone. Is there a rocky world we found on down?
Searcher got an earth verified to be overthrown 30 billion strong. Never been a field good. Field it.
Never been a field better than a field they call exoplanetology.
Show you a world, a shining, shimmering planet, found concealed in the band shifts of the closest star in sight. And I found hope in the skies, and facing wonder, I wonder, could the sine wave discovered be a planet fit for life, a whole new fantastic point of blue, placed in that narrow zone where water flows midway between cold and steaming.
A whole new world, it's on a faint and reddish hue. Could there be waiting here a biosphere evolving in this whole new world to
fathom Made you look.
Yeah, I really like it. Guys. Uh um think gonna wrap up. But I have decided Wednesday Wednesday be a learning doing vectors. I have decided. Um yeah, hopefully guys can make it. If not, I am going to attempt to record it. Well, I mean, I've been recording all of them, but yeah. Oh, yeah. So, cuz Twitch doesn't keep the VODs up permanently. Um I do have a I do have a YouTube channel. It should be linked in my Twitch. Um so those have I've been putting the VODs up there. So I'm gonna start like when I start doing educational I'm gonna find that stuff. So yeah. Would love for you guys to make it on Wednesday. If not, yeah, have a Sunday. Rest of your. Oh, I almost forgot. Let's figure out who we're gonna. Yeah, raid mess. Should our raid message be? Oof. Should the freaking keyboard die on me? Um. All right. Yeah. I'm just gonna copy what Nep. Oh, I can't even copy paste it because. Yay. At least it happened at the end. All right. Who? Pasta Street. Yeah. Let's do. Hey. Good night, guys.